Hi everyone, it is the 1st of May, 2025. This is the Notebooks working group meeting and Notebooks 2.0 extravaganza. Okay, so if you don't know what Notebooks 2.0 is, just as always, or if you have people asking you, there is an FAQ on this issue 85. Um, it kind of slightly goes into just very high level questions, and then it does explain some of the motivation, and then you can get to the design doc. Some stuff has slightly changed since the design doc, but the general motivation is the same. And then it kind of has these various components and what's happening. So yeah, point people towards that. If anyone's new and wants to say hi, this is your chance. Just say your name and maybe why you're here today if you're new.
Yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Stanislav Fink, or Stanis for short. I work for AMD, and I'm here because I would like to, to fix this issue with the notebooks for Kubeflow, and there are also a few issues that are related to it. And I started to working on that, but there is no clear solution yet. But we are moving forwards. Uh,
Yeah,
so
let's do that
hopefully
as a
everything
specific
will be
item.
fixed.
We should definitely overview
Mhm.
that as a specific item. Let's put that in the Notebook 1.0 section because it affects everything, but Notebooks 1.0 especially. Welcome. Hi.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll go ahead. I've already introduced myself in the community meeting, but I haven't been in this one yet, so I'll say hi. I'm Dominic Kafka. I'm part of Red Hat's open source program office, and I'm just here to learn a little bit more about Kubeflow and see like all the different components and just try to find out a little bit more.
Welcome. Hey. Anyone else? If not, I think a little bit less people than normal here today, so that's cool. Um,
It's a holiday today
ah,
in multiple countries, including
ah,
Brazil. Yeah.
oh, that's good for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
is Labor Day, I think. Yeah.
cool, awesome. Okay, let's kick off on this Andy thing. I do want to just quickly overview, yeah, like I know that we had issues with it. I know CERN tried to make some images for and with Rockham pre-installed with PyTorch, just like we have for Intel and CUDA. What so from your side, I think the thing blocking was that we couldn't, sorry, our side, the thing blocking is that we couldn't make an image that would be generic across every deployment of Rockham. And so it would be a pretty bad experience for most users. And the core issue was that we don't run as root. And so uh, because the container had a different UID file permission for the device character device mount on the container, it wasn't able to access it. CUDA and Intel don't have this problem because I believe they use a mediator character device mount, and that mediator device is read-writable by everyone. But I believe AMD mounts the devices just as if they were from the host directly in. And I think that's where the problem is coming in. I know that there was some issues that we linked, but I'm just wondering, so what's kind of the update from your guys' side there?
So there is, I mean, actually, this problem is relevant to us as well, and some in our setups it can sometimes also an issue with those groups. And currently we have small fix for that, but I haven't tested yet on Kubeflow. So basically, we just add the basically this fix is on host. You give the ownership to video group instead of render. Well, alongside with render, so it basically those groups became the same. And since video group has stable ID 44, then potentially it can fix these problems. But downside here is that uh, uh, it will affect the setup of Rockham, and I guess it will have to do this official and put it into documentation, like how to set up host environment, and it is not done yet.
But also,
Uh,
it kind of
so
breaks
this is
the
one approach
pattern as
to.
well, right? It kind of breaks because like there is a pattern. It's weird, but there is a pattern to the video and render group ownerships of specific device character devices, right?
Hmm.
Like it is a bit weird to
Yeah.
break that.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, but I think it can be still can be done,
I mean, I
but
don't mind how you fix it. I
when
just want it to be standard across everyone who uses Rockham, so that when we make an image that is for Rockham and we publish it, that we have a clear explanation of why it doesn't work if you don't have a certain thing, right? You know?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is, I think, maybe a bit too early to say like how exactly it will be implemented, because it has been just started from our
Sure.
end. And another approach here, just in context of Kubeflow, will be to pass the correct ID as you describe in problem number 5. Yes. So here, so
This is, yeah,
then the
that's because of
question is
that
how
issue.
to do this. Yeah, exactly. How to do this correctly. So first, well, there can be a way to do this. So, for example, you can give permission to the user to use more. Just a second. Yeah, it's chmod and two other utilities, user mode, for example. Then do updates on the entry point, and then revoke these permissions in the entry point. This is a bit of a hacky way, and I don't think it is a well in
No, it's
general.
like I think that I don't like
Mhm,
problem solution 5. This
mhm,
is the most important question is why the heck does this not work in the OCI implementation? Like, there's a claimed feature that Kubernetes is relying on here, which doesn't work.
mhm,
Like it seems to stem from the original Moby container implementation, not respecting, because like what it claims, as I was saying up here, like this is not obviously this is a long-term solution because it would take forever to propagate through all the container runtimes. But if AMD could fix this, this would help everyone. You know what I mean? Like, so the issue seems to
yeah.
be that device mounts, like like uh claims effectively when you mount a device, which is kind of similar, right? It claims that you can add read write make not on these devices, right? That it would change the permission. Of course, I have so many questions as to what that would even mean, because like, how does it know what group to give permission to? Does it look at the one that the container is running as? But in any case, the Kubernetes driver plugin system, device driver plugin system, assumes that this feature works, but it doesn't work in any container runtime that I'm aware of. So like you know what I mean? It says, oh, I need read write, or I need write, or make node, whatever, right? And mk node, and like it's but it doesn't work, and so that's definitely the root of this issue. And the reason why this doesn't affect NVIDIA is because NVIDIA's doesn't directly interact with those character device, right? Like that's what, and same as Intel, I believe. So, like,
Mhm.
and maybe Intel does, or they just do something hacky. I don't know. But the point is, it's consistent on every Intel platform. So, like, whatever it is. This is also another thing that like just seems pretty bad. Anyway, other than that, I think this is pretty technical. So I just wanted to highlight that I'm on board with fixing it. All I really want is some way that I don't have to give root, and that I can make an image that, as people roll out whatever fix you apply to the driver layer or whatever, you know, maybe it happens in the driver or something, like that this will be working on every Rockham platform. And I assume that your team is in the same boat there.
Yeah, exactly. It's as I said, we had similar issues, and we are also very much interested in fixing that correctly. So
And yeah, so
yeah.
once you've got that, I would love you to raise the PR to make the example notebook. Of course, we did a bit of work on that AMD example one here by CERN, but if
Mhm.
Intel made their own one, so if your team wants to help make your own one and have some ownership of it, that would be great as well. So thanks for
Mhm.
being on
All
board.
right.
It's great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm going to move on to Notebooks 2.0 because I think we need to do that. Um, we are still moving the dashboard stuff across. Andy's doing some work there, and so is Milland. So we've been migrating code from that. Do you have any updates you wanted to share, Andy?
I'll give updates as part of my normal thing to
Cool.
keep the flow going. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Don't worry about that one. Okay. And then the needs triage thing, we still need to do that. I won't talk about it now. Okay. Yeah, just in general, I think we're starting to do it with the new epic structure, but just don't use the weird / naming convention anymore, please. Please use labels instead and just name it as, if it's an epic, obviously you'll see what that all means whenever it goes through it. But if it's a work item, which is the most common thing it's going to be, just say what it is, right? Say like add the ability to X or add implementation, whatever. If it's a bug report, obviously, that's going to be raised by users mostly. But if it's a PR, you do have to use semantic commits, which is like feature, fix, whatever. Of course, please don't use slashes ever. At a certain point, I think we might just put a regex that stops slashes because it's kind of bad. Like just replaces them automatically or something because I don't like it. It really causes messy stuff. Anyway, so but labels better because then they use the filtering. It makes it much easier. That's a separate discussion. We don't need that to talk about that right now. Okay, Eder, do you have your thing?
Yep, if you go up in the document on the short-term Go epics. So yeah, a little up, a little, please.
Up, yep.
So yeah, so Matthew and I, we are, and also with my team, we were discussing what to be the huge milestone for the first version on Notebook 2.0. We are still penning some discussions, but we start to break down this around epics for us to have effective things to work. And my proposal for the community for the first short-term goal that is like 3 or 4 weeks ahead, like one sprint, is that for the first bullet point is that Bella, the data scientist, wants to create her workspace by selecting for a clear curated catalog of workspace templates kind. She selects an image, a pod config, and add a existing volume and a secret. This is part of one epic that I talk about. And on this first sprint, we will not worry about providing users feedback on why those operations might have failed. Any logs, we can introduce those later. And also letter B, for secrets and volumes, we'll just do input text to validate existing data. So we are not creating anything. And as a second goal is that Bella wants to be able to start, stop, restart, that is start after stop, and connect to her workbench. And this is also part of Epic, and then put connect as a stretch goal because there is that pen request. And if you go scroll down a little for the epics, I break down this kind of short-term goal in some new structure that is basically epic, feature, and work items. And the first epic is a big epic that the 294 is related to develop repository setup and developer experience. I still need to migrate all the issues that we have right now on the top, but I put here the most important ones that are related to this short-term goal, if everybody agree. First, before jumping, everybody's on board with this short-term goal for us to have as a community.
Which one? That one or just this one?
No, the first one. The on the top, please. A little up. A little up.
Oh, up further?
Yeah. This part here. Yeah. If everybody agrees that this is a good short-term goal for the next weeks.
I mean, seems like it's the thing we're trying to. That's an MVP almost, not quite, but
Not quite yet, because there is also the cluster admin, the workspace kind, and this sort of stuff that I'm proposing for the next one.
also connecting to it. Do we have connecting in there?
Yes, is number 2.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and if you scroll down a little, I created like a proposal for the next goal for our group, and then we're going to start to cover the cluster admin. That Joe, the cluster admin, wants to be able to list workspace kinds, gather details about the specific workspace kind, and figure out how many workspace and which workspace are running which option for their workspace kind. This is my proposal for the next one, but we can cover this later. Any comments on this, anyone? So if you can scroll a little, Matthew, for the epics. So I don't know how we should proceed now, Matthew, because I created the epics, I created the features, and inside each feature, if you click, for instance, on the 274 here as example, that is more feature-wise. There is these features that are part of this epic, and on each, I create kind of a user story for this epic. And if you click in each feature, for instance, I listed all the issues that are, scroll a little down, all the issues that are related for this work item. So people can have more clarity of how we're organizing this. And if you please, Matthew, go back for the meeting document. And I try to put a summary here of what are the things that are pending for each of those epics. I don't know how we should structure the meeting from now, from the epics for the tasks or from people and what people are doing.
So we should definitely have someone in charge of, so at very least we need to have people in charge of the epics, maybe even in charge of features. And again, they're not necessarily the one delivering that, but they're just the one to make sure that
Yep.
work is progressing. And what
I agree.
the goal would be to go down those list of people and give updates, or if they're not here, just have them write their update in the doc. And then obviously within that context, there would be specific work items that might be blocked or other complicated things. But I'd say, I guess the question is where we should definitely assign people to epics. How do we want to do that?
To be kind of the owner of the epic, right? To make sure that everything
like
is there.
Again, a person who's responsible that it is delivered, not that they have to deliver it themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're the one that's the one point of contact. So if someone is working on that feature, and then so that we don't all try and simultaneously connect to each other, if you know what I mean. It's like effectively we have like the leads who are who like, so that we don't always have to, it's like eventually hopefully those people can become leads as well, but like what I mean is like that they and again, it doesn't have to be someone who's super experienced as well. It depends on the level. So I guess the question is, are we going to have feature owners, if you will, or are we going to have
I would start by the epic owners, and then we can figure out if we need feature owners, I would say. Because we have right now 4 epics. One that is the repository setup and developer experience, that mostly about infrastructure stuff. And then this one here is to create a workspace. This is a wizard. So probably Paulo will be a good candidate for this one because Paulo is mostly on this. The second one and the third one is managing and running workspace. This is the workspace list and also the fact of stop and start and edit a workspace. And this one, and this one has the workspace list. It's connecting to a running workspace. This is a workspace list and the connection for the workspace. So we have like four big epics for this sprint. Go ahead, Andy.
Editing a workspace. If we're looking at the 2 objectives or user stories that we're trying to deliver this first time around, I don't see where edit workspace actually falls in.
Yeah, I added the edit workspace because Muhammad is already starting in the backend for this. So this could be a feature that we go for the next one, I would say.
Okay.
I agree with you.
I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, so now we can move this. Like,
so to be clear, is it in there or is it, where is it?
Sorry?
Oh, that is there. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah,
that's quite a lot. Yeah, editing could, I don't know.
Maybe
it's unknown. It's unknown as to how difficult it will be. You know, I think.
Yeah. So I will do this. I will do this and put this is a different epic. Make sense?
Yeah, I think this one's like maybe it's like managing running works, like managing. It's kind of hard because that is kind of under that epic. So I think it's again a feature does an epic can span multiple sprints. That's the point of an epic.
Yep.
So put that back into that epic. It's definitely. But like yeah, because like this features. Well, no, work items are allocated to sprints technically, not even features. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's the reason, and that epics can go over multiple sprints.
And even a feature can, of course. But if a feature does go across multiple sprints, and again, I think we define a sprint as like a month loosely here. Maybe like we're on the first of a month. It's quite convenient.
Yeah, that's super nice because we are. Yeah, this is like May. Let me move here. Like.
And obviously for context, I think we all want to get something out as soon as possible. Of course, we don't want to release something before it's ready because people will start using it because it is a lot better than the current thing. But also, I think everyone wants to be able to stand up at KubeCon and be like, you know, we have Notebooks 2.0. This is great. Also, we are kind of in a feature, not a feature, like a version freeze upstream, like of all the Kubeflow overall, just to try and only release a new version when there's actually a breaking change. And Notebooks 2.0 obviously is a breaking change. Of course, you can keep using 1.0, but like, yeah. Anyway, so the point is, it's going to be a good thing, but we want to make sure that something is, because more people will contribute once people see it. But you know, it's like we want to have a MVP, I think, right? And I think that's what we're working towards.
Yeah, and my goal here, that I talk a lot of Matthew and also with Andy, is not is to contribute for everyone to be on the same page. So this should be the reflex of what the community thinks. I'm just doing our work of organizing stuff here to make sure that everybody has the same visibility and the same goal, because I think it's super cool to have goals for us to reach, like with a deliverable like this one, even if you don't release this, but to have something for us to show, like on the short term goal, something to show for in the end of the month.
Also, the other thing is that because it's an open source project and people aren't working at the same company, and sometimes people might have time to work on a specific item, but we don't want like direction like product managers and leads to have to explain every time what something is. The goal is that you can have a work item that sits under a defined epic and then feature that then if they don't understand something, they can ask the question in that feature, and then the leads of that feature or work item, or epic can explain it, or it should just hopefully be obvious from context. Because like sometimes when you're implementing a feature, understanding the context in which it sits will help you implement it without asking even a question. You know, like this is kind of that's kind of the idea. Because people get assigned work items, right?
Yep, exactly.
Teams
And
could get
what?
assigned
Yeah.
features, I guess, if you have a team or something. But like, but then again, I think we will have an owner of epics, and I don't know, right, about features. But yeah, it's an interesting question.
Yeah,
But
let's start by epics, and then we break down the epics, and later we can figure out if there is feature leads. But let's start by the features, and people are assigning for work items, I think.
and we also need to design what that owner is responsible to do. Like, obviously, they're generally the person who should be the first point of contact for the people who assigned work items under there.
Mm-hmm.
They should hopefully be aware of what's going wrong or right in that epic. You know what I mean? Like, is
And
there?
do a report probably on the Thursdays meetings.
Yeah.
Like the one that I did right now. If you can distribute this work, like what is the state? For instance, I'll give you example. If you go scroll a little here, for instance, let me take one that is a good example here. Yeah, for instance, this 274 here. We have something that the lead needs to see if it's good enough. I can beat this one. There is some pull request for review, and there is some backend for to do. Probably the responsibility of someone that's on an Epic should be to chase people, make sure that everything people have all the information needed to develop. And for instance, this backend feature is not blocking that Han already sent a pull request, I think, for this one.
I think also they should be watching all the feature and epic issues. They don't need to watch the work items, but they should watch the feature and epic issues for any comments and questions. And the first point of contact for any question
Exactly.
relating to that feature should be there. And then, or just directly to that person. But of course, then that person should be like, hey, no, please comment it in the thing. So we probably need to add at least to the epics either a so that's actually another problem as well. That they should almost certainly be the one who can edit this as well. And the problem is that okay. What if there's okay.
No, like if someone needs to edit something, just ping me for now
I think maybe we can fix this by just
no, Matthew, just people ping me on private because we have 4 epics. That's not overcomplicated. If people need to change the wording, add features, don't ping me on private, and I can change this.
like or even under the features though when they want to add that. I think
Yep.
the because also the issue is just fundamentally I would love to give people the ability to edit other people's messages, right? But the issue is that it also gives the ability to add labels, and labels are kind of used for security things. So like
Yep.
it's just unfortunate in the repo. Like
No, we have 4 epics only. Let's just people ping me on private and I update it.
also features as well though. Don't forget you have to add under the work
Yep.
items.
Yep.
This is the only thing I'm not super happy about is that if we did it this way, right? You know, I could add right. You know, again, I guess this is another question. Do we want to add at least do I want to make these, right? Do I want to add like you know what I mean? Like do we want to do that? Because now it's
I
saying
guess so. But
and I can give you the ability to do that editor probably. And then
I'm
maybe
happy. I'm happy to do that because this is gonna fix the problem of the pasting the features, right?
um and then we can, and also this is much more automatable. I can almost certainly make a command in Prow that can do this, or even a bot that can probably, okay, maybe Prow getting stuff is there hard, but like, because that's Google, but like, but the, actually Kubernetes now, but I can probably make a bot command that can do this, or someone else can make that as well. So, because this doesn't require, because this is the most common thing that people are going to want to do for both,
Yep.
because then we can under both, right? Effectively, okay, my only concern is that I don't know if an issue can be under multiple. It probably can't. And almost certainly, you know, like let's just confirm very quickly. So I'll how do I'll had another epic. I won't do it, but I'll just see if it's So when we go, so I added workspace creation base flow. I'll just make sure if I can add this one. And then I'll just temporarily add this and see what happens. Yes, you can say yeah. So this makes sense. Features that only can live under one epoch. So then
Yep.
I think the next question is, okay, so this, we can make a command that does this. This is pretty easy, I think. Like, and this, we have a GitHub action that does it. And then the same way that we have the label one. Then the next question is, what do we do for the work items under here?
It's the same, right?
But what about if a work item lives under multiple features? Of course, normally you'd do it the other way around, right? You would set. Oh, you can do it that way. Interesting. But no. How would you do it?
But this is the exception method, and then we list on like we're doing right now.
I guess if we make a command that makes it possible to do, like add and remove, you know what I mean? That at least makes it easier.
Yeah.
Then the question is, then how do we deal with PRs? Like, obviously issues should link. Again,
PR is listed to a work item, linked to a work item, so we can see how the issue is closed. Because we
also sometimes a PR can just be under a feature directly. I think sometimes you like there's. I don't want to be prescriptive. That said,
absolutely.
I just want to quickly check if you can have a PR as a sub item. I don't know if you can. Let me just check. I don't think so. Okay. You can link an issue, but I don't think. Yeah, that's all you can do, right? Yeah. Okay.
But we can solve this workflow
we can
issues
also
later.
probably pin work items. Like probably what we should have is a template which says like feature issue. You don't need to do epic, but like feature issue, and then work item if it exists. You know what I mean? And then at very least, then when I go down the list here, I'm gonna
because there were
reference here. You know what I mean? Like that's for any pull request. You know what I mean? And then we can actually do that automatically. So that's. Yeah, the only issue is the issues relationship can't be done with anything other than sub issues. So I guess if oneness does, but I don't. The problem is I don't want to have half, right? That's what I mean. So like that's kind of like my only concern is like if we don't do it sometimes, it's like for features and epics, it's easy. We can guarantee it's going to happen 100% of the time. But like
let's keep the work items like this for now, and then we can change later because we have this question about having one work item for two features, right?
We could even try and automate it a little bit, right? Anytime an issue gets linked in here, then like anytime an issue that would be closed. Wait, oh, that's a problem. I just realized something. We need to, people are going to accidentally go in here and put stuff like fixes X issue. You know what I mean? Like not this one, sorry. It's more that, sorry, yeah. They need to be careful not to, it's in the PRs, sorry. Like otherwise when a PR gets merged, it might close the feature prematurely.
No, the PR closes the work the
work item.
work item. Yeah.
They need to be careful not to use the word fix. That's not also going to relate, by the way. You need to actually, to be very clear. It's more like this.
We can update all of them later. I think, Matthew, the most important part for us is a good suggestion for us to have kind of people responsible for the epics.
Absolutely. That's just how every
want to do right now?
Yeah, definitely. Who wants to? Okay, so I think okay, some people aren't here, so that's that. But how do we need to first off define what what their job is. You know what I mean? Like, so what is their job?
It's to figure. I think the job is to figure out that all the work is assigned. People are not blocked, and report on the meeting.
What do you want to call it? Like, owner is not the right, but like we could do owner, I guess. But like
epic.
Like it's like supervisor now. Like
no, it's good. It's all better word. Lead. No, epic.
It's manager
epic.
or
owner.
Owner is the only really serious word, right? It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Or yeah, okay. Let's like responsibilities. Whoa. So effectively be the first point of contact for devs working on features. Sorry, on work items. Items under features in your epic. Understand the goal of the epic. You know what I mean? Like be responsible for the because epics can live forever. To be clear, like epics in a lot of
Yep.
so it's more like they'll become areas. So like they and then actually it makes the question is this a technical role, this lead as well? That's kind of what I'm trying to think as well, right? Like because if it
I
is,
think
then
it's a technical role.
it's kind of like an owner as well, like an actual owner in the strict sense of approving code, right?
Yep.
You know,
Approving code and approving the epic, right?
but like but I don't want to put that requirement because sometimes a product manager for like like in the future we might have a user experience epic, right? You know what I mean?
I agree.
Or a or something like or a notebook images epic, you know, and like the base images epic or something.
I think we can phrase this like be responsible for the acceptance criteria of the epic.
For the because then also bugs will also potentially be under these somewhere. So it's like areas. It's more like it's an area, right? It's like but it's like a bit more focused area. So I'm thinking like it's not responsible. It's like it is responsible in some sense, but like it's just in like there for ensuring the progression of features within the epic and um uh understand the goal of the epic and you've got something to say, Andy, yeah?
I was just going to say, almost selfishly, right? I would love to volunteer for 294, but I'm curious your thoughts on how this intersects. Like, I can't merge anything yet, right? I'll bust my ass over the next couple, months or whatever to make sure I get to that point. But some of this stuff.
Say that you should own that one. I was gonna say that you should own that one.
Okay. And so until I actually have review or commit rights, just kind of work with you or Eder as
that's why this is not like that's why this is not the responsibility straight away. It's more of a product management and like, but it doesn't mean that you have to not contribute code. It's more like it could be filled by a person who doesn't commit code, right? The idea is like it's someone who initially it's going to be people who commit code almost certainly, just because foundationally the project when it's not there it's hard to even be an owner if you don't understand what's happening, right? Like but when the focus shifts to more user experience kind of stuff, right, it's more like their responsibilities will also shift to like talking to the community, cataloging like because I want to get to the point where we triage issues to these owners, right? You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, that's and maybe that team, maybe a couple of people. There's still going to be one person in command, like they have to be. If there's not, then it's a mess, right? But they can have a team, I guess. You know.
Okay, no, that answers my question. It's not like the owner is in charge of merging all of this stuff. They're just making sure
like there might not be a specific area, right? In this case, the repo it's everywhere, right? You know, there's anything.
Yes.
Like it could.
Thank you.
Yeah, because also this one is. This is the
And
crazy. This is a
most of the epics requires work on the front end, back end, and controller because we are doing this orthogonally. So it will be not just one person that are able to review everything, but I expect for this person to be able to talk with like one person to delegate this work for people in the front end, for people in the back end, and people in the controller.
Responsible for ensuring the progression epic. Like so under what this means is like be the first point of contact. Ensure your issues are up to date. Linked features. Feature issues are linked to epic. Feature issues are linked to epic. Work items, issues and PRs are linked to features. We need to define what that means. I'm going to say sub issue in this one, and then I don't know how we're going to do that one. To be clear, I think we need a new feature, which is That's an interesting question. Like, what this is because this is a feature. There's a feature with like one item effectively in this case, which is a bit messy, right? Like, which is the ability to do this sub-issue linking, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
that's a GitHub action, but where does that sit? Is that a feature or not? This is an interesting question. Like, it's not really a feature. These are like because this epic is
No,
very
I feel
strange.
this epic is the last resort for all. But we can put a feature here to set up the pro, and a feature can have just one more item. It's
We
fine.
can have CI/CD because again we can like this
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, this could just be like maintenance, administrative strategy, or I mean, maybe it is only linking epics, but maybe there's.
We have a bunch of others here on this one that is end-to-end strategy.
But this one's
strategy.
huge. But this one's huge. Like that issue is an epic, effectively. Right? It also is an emergent epic coming out of each of the rest to some extent, Like this
Well, I think that the scope, I mean, yes, it can grow. The scope right now is to just not always serve mock data, right? I think is the current issue at hand. But, I mean, that can, as you add new endpoints, you know what I mean? We'll figure out what that means.
Yes.
Let's keep in smaller, a short amount of epics, and then you can break down if things get bigger.
I'm trying to understand, like, so that's a feature, yes. These feel like epics though, because they cross multiple things, right? Like it's like anytime when you're crossing multiple areas of the app,
should be a feature.
That should be an epic, right?
But I don't think so, because we are focused epic on the story of what the user wants to achieve.
This is more like an epic is like initial developer, right? You know what I mean? This is more like initial setup, right? But it doesn't matter. Whatever, it's the same idea. And then so in this case, it's like
no, the things that are listed here on this epic right now are the infrastructure things that we need to do to finish the epics that are above.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this is a feature that will have multiple work items if we phrase it like feature, project, issue, GitHub, like tracking stuff. You know what I mean? Like effectively, and then the first item.
But this, I will put this, Matthew, in a that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah, and then like the first item here is make a new / sub issue command with a GitHub action that. So like
Matthew, because we have 50 minutes only. Shall we define the epics owners?
Yes, we should probably do that.
And do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'm good for that. I'll sync to understand. I'm good on the other points. I'll figure out something around project issue GitHub tracking to ramp up there so I can speak to it.
And is there anyone else interested on this one? Okay.
We should just maybe. I don't know. Oh, why is it gray? Interesting. Okay. I don't know. Like, I don't know. We can maybe do it later. Okay. Yep. And if we probably think about what else are they doing? Reporting weekly status. Like, is there any other things they need to be responsible for?
I think it's fine to start, Matthew. We can add things later.
Okay. Yep. So, what is this epic? Like, how do you describe this epic? Like, it's
which one?
The second one.
The second one. You wanna click on it?
Okay.
There was a nice description there. Yeah, it's basically the wizard. It's the creation flow of the workspace.
Isn't this like this secondary part is not specific, right? It's more like creating.
No. I don't want to be. We are talking about user stories here, so we are talking. Remember the story that we're discussing. So this is what they want to do. What the user wants to do on the story.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Besides the first one, I'm focused all in user stories of what the user want to achieve as a part of big stories, and then the features become technical.
Yes. Features don't become technical though. No, they become outcomes.
Yes, outcomes, but they become outcomes like
They
we are
become
talking more
implement. They
about tech.
become with. They do become implementation discussion. Yes.
That
Yes.
scarce, yes, yeah.
But like, yeah, they do. They're allowed to have implementation discussion.
So I really want to keep the epics user focus.
And let's like have that description as well. Maybe like we should agree what they are. You know, like so.
Can you do this offline, Matthew?
Yeah, we
Because
can. It's like I'll put it here.
yeah.
Like we need to remember to do it. Like like descriptions of tracking types. Epic verse feature verse work item. You know. Okay. Whatever that. Feature dot. Wait, no, it can be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
It can be an issue or a unlinked PR directly under a feature. Here we go. Okay, let's keep going for that. Dot dot dot. Okay. Yep. And then okay, so this one is kind of interesting, right? How does this is the huge one, is kind of what I'm saying. Like this person
Yeah, is a huge one, yeah.
this one will continue. This person will probably continue in this role forever. Is what I'm trying to say. This epic may evolve into using notebooks for AI. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, right? So, in fact, that's honestly nah. Okay, the problem is if we make it that generic, then it's the initial setup for now still. Because where's the connecting live? Does it live under this one, or where does it live?
The connector is another one. Is another one. Is a 291.
This feels like this one feels wrong. Then this epic feels more
It's
generic.
not it's
This
not
feels
wrong. This is creating one. Is about creating a workspace.
okay. Then what's with the second part?
The second part is what the user wants to do only. I'm set up in workspace to do something.
Sure. I guess it's context. I guess I don't know. It just
It's a
seems
content, yeah.
it's fine. Because like otherwise, how do we close this epic, right? Like
We
this
close this
is
epic when user finish the features that are the acceptance criteria that is there.
I guess. Because in the future, I think we should have epics that are actually long living, right? To some extent, you know, that are more like epic would be
We can always create a new epic if there
AI
is a new thing.
researchers, AI researchers happiness. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know something.
No,
Like,
but this yeah.
yeah, who knows if that makes sense or not? I'm not sure if
No,
everlasting epics are a good idea or not.
I prefer to bring to break down this stuff on this way. Like we
Do
have
we agree that okay? So then we should just explicitly say: is an epic allowed to live forever, or does it have to eventually be closed?
have to eventually be closed.
Okay, epics must not be for general areas and must have a clear path to being
Yep.
closed, fully resolved. You know,
That's
like
why on 294, that the one I put the tasks that only for us for this first sprint that we are doing. The repository set up enough for us to unblock the work of the other epics. To close that user story that I created in the
so the
beginning.
epic really in this case is MVP setting up. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, it's like it's this could go forever. Otherwise, you know what I mean? Like this is kind
No,
of
it's no, it's an MVP. The epics connect to the user story that you put. This is a copy and paste. All those four epics
sure.
are part of the things that we are doing there.
It's all MVP stuff, and that's kind of what we're saying.
Yeah,
Like this is
yeah.
like those
But
get
it's
closed once the minimum possible thing that would be
yeah,
acceptable is there.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
but
Yeah,
in the future though, we would never have such a generic epic. You know what I mean? That's kind of what it would be. Like, you know, there might be an epic for improving X stuff, whatever it is, you know, but not I don't know. Who knows? Hard to know. Let's move on. Okay, so who's owning that one then? How do we want to assign who's capable of owning that one?
Could be you and me.
I don't
Or
want
me.
to. I don't want to own any of them, to be honest.
You can put this on me.
Is this? Do you definitely want to own this one?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Or is there any others you would prefer to own? I don't know if this.
Yeah, because Paulo knows a lot about this one as well. I'm between. No, Paulo can take the next one, I think,
Okay.
because Paulo work a lot as well.
Owner. Oh, I'll just copy that so that it just comes with it. Editor. Okay. And
I wanted to watch you try to spell Edder's last name on the fly
Nope.
there. I feel like I was wrong,
No.
but continue.
no, not happening. Not happening. Yeah. So, okay.
And
Yeah.
this one is a good for Paulo. This one.
So does he? Yeah, managing and updating maybe makes sense.
Yeah, because Paulo did most of the table and this sort of stuff.
This one, yeah. Do you sure? I mean, like, yeah, okay. Who else would be interested in owning this as well? I'm just thinking, like, because I'm wondering if you should even own this one, right? Like, should he own? I don't know. You can own whatever you like. I don't mind. You guys decide.
Yeah, I can own this one as well.
Sure. I mean, yeah, like this connector running workspace for HTTP. Like, I'm thinking, was anyone else heavily involved in it, like Hashad or someone like that? You know,
No, this 291 should be someone that know more on the controller. Should be you or should be Harshad.
That's what
And
I'm
this
saying,
one,
right? Like,
yeah,
that's
and this one could be me as well.
Managing running workspaces, like, do you want to own this one, or do you want to let Paulo own this one?
No, I put my name here because Paulo is not here, and then I can explain to Paulo later.
We'll start with him, right? And then we'll say if he doesn't want to.
Okay.
Let's give it to him. Let's give it to him.
Volunteer. Yeah.
Give it to him, and then if he doesn't want it, you can take it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell his name? Whoa, what's happening? There we go. That one?
Yep.
Okay. And then this one is like we don't have an obvious owner for this one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
for this one, the front end is easy and is done already. So it should be someone either that with more knowledge on the back end or the front on
yeah,
the
the thing
controller.
is, this is like really is the problem is that this one is very technical from like an Istio networking routing perspective,
Yeah.
and like this, I probably am the only person who can really do this one. That's kind of my only concern
Yeah.
from a technical perspective. But
Yeah. Put yourself there, Matthew.
I'm trying to think. I don't understand this feature though. Workspace list. What?
No, it's because in order to connect, we need to have the feature. There's a workspace listing to this.
I would prefer other people to own the stuff. That's what I'm saying though. Like I don't want to be the owner of these epics because I'd prefer that other people start taking ownership of things. You know what I mean? But like I can do it. But like I'm trying to think who else is Hashad wanting to do it. I mean, also I don't want every owner to be a Red Hat. That is another point. So okay. Who else? Because it doesn't need to be technical. Again, it's more like, again, the goal is not that it's that they can recognize that the features are complete and answer questions and find the people who should know the answers if they don't know the answers. That's kind of who I'm thinking. Like, who else would be sensible here? Like, to be clear, we could even intentionally give this to someone who isn't super technical, although, like, this
is the most technical one, especially, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like this is a bit of an outlier right now because of the Istio ramifications of it. You know, yeah.
Yeah, it's because whoever does this would have to be asking me lots of questions. Yeah, that's
Matthew, the person that are going to own this will not be about part of this epic, right? But in future, this person should also help us with the discussions about being Istio as being independent of Istio. It will not be part of the epic. It will be a new epic, but it should be the same person ideally.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, I want to remove myself as a single knowledge area of this. Like, even like I don't know who would be closest to being able to.
I can start to volunteer people. Could be Andy or Harshad.
Yeah, I mean Andy's owning one that should get closed, right? So, like this.
So if you want, I can take one.
Yeah, that's Harshad. Yeah, if you're willing to help.
I'm happy.
Sorry,
I'm happy
Harshad, to volunteer you for this.
No, I was also waiting because I thought Matthew wanted someone outside of. I'm happy to.
I mean, if there is no one else, yeah, I would. Obviously, my preference is that we don't have it all be Red Hat. But again, the goal is that your like a point of contact and like a oversight
Right.
kind of, and then I
Absolutely.
also don't want to be the only, because like otherwise I'm gonna make decisions and things without people knowing, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what's not obvious to other people, right? And it's kind of, I'd prefer to just be kind of trying to oversight the whole thing, you know what I mean? Rather than
Yeah, and just to be clear with everyone, with honor
Totally.
expectations, we don't expect owners to do all the decisions, but to be the facilitator because the decisions need to be shared amongst the
but they do need
community.
to make a call. So like the other thing is that this is my other thing as well, right? That for non-implementation things, like the reviewers and stuff make implementation level calls. They don't get to call that. But if there's a debate like, is the button going here or here, like, or something like that, I also think that this person should be the final say in some sense, right? Like that this is, of course, at first that's probably always going to be a community effort, but like it's the idea is that they're responsible. Maybe it's a better way to say it is that they're responsible that a decision is made and within the existing frameworks, right? They actually don't necessarily have the authority to make it, but they like, so in the case of like for a lot of stuff, it unfortunately is only Eda and me who can make some calls right now. You know what I mean? But like this kind of uh they're there to make sure that the person who is authorized to make the decision actually makes a decision. You know what I mean? Like that's like that they're
Yep.
like, okay, why haven't you reviewed that? Or they ping them on Slack being like, here are the two options presented by the designer. Which one, right? Is that we do need to then have clearly defined people who are allowed to make each level of decision, right? Like I'd love to
And
have people like Jenny having decision power over UI things, you know, or things like that. If she
Jenny
would,
will have.
yeah, that's what I mean, right? And so, yeah, like these kind of decisions that are
Yeah,
also more abstract because they don't live
mhm.
in owners files.
And now that we have the owners defined here, remember that the epics that I created right now was just to do, if you can scroll a little or up, Matthew, please, is the minimal to do this first sprint here. I will create epics later and I put later in the doc to group all the other stuff that we need to do in future. Let's do the minimal to make sure that we have a deliverable in the end of the month. Makes sense, Harshad, Andy, and Matthew, and others.
Yeah, yep. If so, is Harshad, so you're okay to do this?
Yes.
Fine. I mean,
Yeah.
also, I'm happy to work with you, and the goal is that you can document kind of what we do anyway, you know what I mean, to some extent. But like,
Yeah, absolutely.
if people are going to
My
come to
thought
you
was also
asking
to come to
questions,
you. Yeah.
yeah, you're probably going to end up having to ask me questions, but that's fine, because then you are another person who knows it as well, hopefully, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And guys, I did the homework already for the owners of the. So I kind of create the things that are pending and things that need review and things that are blocked right now.
Okay.
So it's like if you take a look, this one that's front end is ready. I don't know, someone needs to review, and there are controller for the pull request review, and to have the workspace list, actually a list of the workspace in the table. We are ready on the front end and the back end. We need to do to choose some stuff on this, for instance.
And also, yeah, I also, the state secret thing as well, I need to actually raise that pull request because I was changing some of the controller tests as well, but I didn't quite get it done because I agree with the review that someone said, which was that we need to do it with exponential backoff. We merged the fix which stopped at exponential backoff spiraling into craziness, but then we yeah, like, and anyway, the point is I need to also finish merging that as well. I don't know what that would sit under. What does that sit under?
It's if you click on my name, it's on two on
So
the
it's related to secrets, right? This one is about getting the secrets
yeah,
mounted. So
yeah,
then,
but the is on the 274, the one I'm clicking right now. There's the Y and this is the backend.
yeah, no, that's
And
under
this is the
there, but like
controller. Yeah,
it's like this is the controller piece. I see.
yeah.
What is this? Okay, sure. Cool. I've got the code mostly done. It's just because the controller test. Actually, this is another thing I want to add as a thing. Oh, this is an interesting one, right? Like, I do want to add this as a feature. This is a new one, which is here, ensure minimal, like ensure like some reasonable level of code test coverage in each area. You know what I mean? Like of like, and so you need to understand, you know, go through the it should be immediately apparent that there are lots of to-dos in some of the tests that are like, nothing's here, you know what I mean? But some tests of testing for each area, you know, I don't know. This is new as well.
Yeah, probably we need to do some CI/CD for this, right? To show the
we can
status.
automate, to be clear, like this is something that this person could suggest, you know, like we could automate it. There are code coverage tools that we have access
But
to part of this. Yeah.
my question, Matthew, is like, do you need to do this on the first sprint or put this for later?
This one is not going to be under the MVP, I think. You know what I mean? Like maybe
No,
it is.
the things that are here are things that are blocking the current sprint. We need to connect the front end to the back end. We need to use Tilt, and we need to have Swagger auto-generated to have the front end. So those three things that are original here, I
mean,
put
strictly
those stuff
speaking,
here.
that one, strictly speaking, is not blocking this one then.
Yeah, so I move these for another epic later if you're
Yeah,
already.
because like I'm gonna say like I can just manually go through and do these right now. You know what I mean? It's a bit painful, but I can do it.
Yeah, you understand my
Even the
reasoning.
top
I
one is
try to
not.
create the minimal test that we need to do to reach what we are planning.
To be clear, even this one as well is not. I can manually do this one.
I'll change both for them.
Yeah. Okay.
And my question for everyone here, because Matthew and I, we did a lot of work to do this. We have like a lot of epics also written. Did you guys like this structure from the community? Do you think that is the right path for us to organize?
Well, we need something. I think this is the first step, right? I think we can always.
I think it's all Red Hatters on the call right now too. So I think there's a little bit of a sampling bias right now. So I think we need, I mean, I do agree with it, but I think we need to make sure we get like outside community engagement to thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think if people start using it, and like when I want to be able to assign a work item to someone who's never been to one of these calls and have them be able to use the asynchronous issue system to get that work done. Right? If someone comes and goes, oh, I've got a couple weeks of time, I want to contribute to Kubeflow. I'm a Go expert. And then we're like, oh, perfect. Here's the controller issue, and then it sits under this epic. Of course, in the future, we're going to lose a little bit of this context if we don't have epics or areas that live for a long time. But I don't know, right?
Matthew, I have one last question. Should we have epic of epics to group the milestone?
I think we should have the word area. I think we should have the word area for that, right? Or do you mean milestone?
No, I mean the first milestone. Remember that I have a.
Oh, yeah. So make milestones. Yes, let's call it sprint. Let's use milestones for sprints. And so, we can
because we have
milestones.
We have the current milestone that we have the current sprint that we are doing, and we have this current sprint.
I think this one actually should happen in the first one. Let's actually do this in the first sprint. This one, and then let's under here as well. Let's do enable milestone for a specific like this is a prowl command for specific group. It's like create a internal ACL Kubeflow GitHub group for like, I don't know, what are we gonna call these, like epic owners, I guess, or something, right? Like notebooks, epic owners, and then enable prowl command for that. You know what I mean? Or maybe, yeah. And I don't know if we can restrict what each group can do, but like the idea would be that we have a milestone called like sprint / and then how are we gonna name it? Are we just gonna have it as dates or?
But besides one milestone that is the current sprint that we are doing, we need I would like also to have a place to paste the content from our Google Doc that is all the milestone that we are planning. That will be the first release of the.
That'd be like a roadmap then, right? That's more. Like, but what does that mean, right? Like, how do you? GitHub is not the right place for roadmaps usually. Like, it's...
Yeah, but I'd like to create a place to paste the full user story that we wrote.
That's called a file in the repo, I think.
Should I do this?
Like, you know what I mean? Like this is like this is a roadmap, but again, because not tying to specific issues. Don't link specific issues here. But
no. I'm just
roadmap.md, right? A roadmap.md. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I understand the purpose. I opened the document because I wrote this in a textual format, and I share with you. And
do you want to do that? Or like, yeah, because the issue is obviously updating a roadmap document requires a pull request. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that's negative
It's
about
fine.
that.
It's fine. It's fine. Because I think, Matthew, that when you create new epics should be part of this roadmap, or we change the roadmap.
We would need to have a folder for it to be very clear, so that it can have an owner's file. But I don't know, right? Like I think that's going to cause a lot of friction, right? Like I feel
I
like
don't think so.
a living document might be better. You know what I mean? A living.
Yeah, a living document is an option as well, but not this meeting document.
No, what I'm saying is maybe we should have a roadmap.md that links you to a GitHub document that's in the Kubeflow same. This folder is that, so like that it never gets lost as well, right?
Yep, could be.
Let's probably do that. So like, we'll put that under here then.
And sorry, to tie this down, then just so I understand this last point, the milestone prow command. So how do I, as a notebook epic owner, leverage this?
No, so the idea would be that we need to agree what a milestone is first, but the idea is our milestones, like in the future, milestones will probably be releases, definitely, right? But right now, are they dates like sprints? Because otherwise things need to move between them. That's kind of messy. Or are they outcomes like, sprint, MVP one? Or are they how are we gonna do milestones editor, do you think? And where do we add them actually? That's a good point.
I think we should add them for the epic, right?
Do you think we should? Then we don't even use milestones. Then what you're saying is we make a milestone issue. You mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or
with a sprint. Like let me
sprint.
go
No, let's
step
make a
back.
sprint issue. Let's make a sprint issue then.
A sprint issue, yeah.
And then then a sprint can kind of, sadly, it can push. It's not like sprint in the traditional sense is probably a wrong word. You know what I mean? But it's like, what's the better word than sprint? Because sprint obviously implies that it's a time, right? That it's time. It's a time slice.
Right, and well, it is a milestone, but milestone carries weight that isn't.
Let's use the GitHub milestones as releases, and then let's use.
Yep, milestone is the full story that I share with you guys.
Oh, then it's a story. It's like a. Nah, it's
no story. Story is our work items. My milestone is everything. I think we should create a sprint. Let's create a sprint or monthly focus. Any name you can put.
But if we do sprint, then it's like, okay, well, if it doesn't happen, then it's going to be like, oh, we have to move all these items to the new sprint, right? It's like
we close the sprint when we finish it.
That's not a sprint then. Like that's like a sprint is a defined period of time. Like
yeah,
and using that language for anything else is going to confuse people. Like I think it needs to be, if we're going to have an epic of epics.
Let me scroll a little up. The question is where I write this instead of a document.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this needs to be an issue, obviously, right? Of course, the issue with it being a GitHub issue is that other
why we don't like short term goal is also
like,
because
the issue is that only the person who creates the issue can edit it as well. That's the only other problem. But it either needs to be a GitHub issue. I don't think it can be milestone. I think that's messy. Because otherwise you can have the wording. But like, I think it needs to be. And at a certain point, we're using an epic wrong, right? An epic is kind of this is usually an epic, but you do need epics of epics sometimes, right? So I guess it's like a collection.
Matthew, can I quickly share my screen?
Go. We could call it like a collection or something.
Yeah, because I have this on my draft, Matthew. What we discussed last time. You can see those are the personas that we talked about. I'll talk about this milestone, right? So for each of those items, I create a small text that I'm going to copy for the epics. For instance, this epic is part of this one.
Maybe it should be called a roadmap then, like just weirdly, you know what I mean? Like an issue that's called a roadmap.
I'd you like to remove this document from this draft here and put in
let's call it like a roadmap then. I know it's weird, but like we could have the prefix roadmap as an issue, and then it's like these are ones that are assigned, and then we can assign those roadmaps to release milestones. You know what I mean?
Exactly, because one of my roadmap, for instance, setting up a workspace to fine tune a GNI model. This is the item,
And
right?
then we can still use sub issue as well. Like we can use the sub issue thing as
No,
well for that.
and this is what I mean, because this item, we are doing part of them on this sprint. But we are doing part, because for instance, we are not creating volumes right now. Probably you're doing the next sprint to the official. I create a roadmap issue for this.
So the feature actually should be.
You want to share again your screen?
Oh yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is, I think Andy's got his hand up. Go.
Just the LLMs told me that the word initiative fits here, and I could kind of get behind.
That is right.
yes.
Initiative is the right word. That is. There is literally that is the word people use in like whatever this framework is called. Yes.
So we call the sprint initiative.
No. We have sprints, but they are time periods, but we don't document them on GitHub. You know what I mean? And we do them within the project tracking system, which is built into this, because there is a sprint system in this as well. But they're assigned sprint work items are assigned to sprints, not epics or features. Work items. You know what I mean? Like so, like if you
and I think, Eder, like if everything goes smoothly, yes, you will see all of these epics close in an initiative during the sprint. But this kind of gives you, it doesn't tightly couple that.
So and initiatives live forever. Initiatives live forever, maybe or not. Maybe they don't. Sometimes they don't. They can live for whenever.
I think these first ones won't. But yeah.
Let me go a step back. Like all the text description that what we want to achieve in the first release of milestone of Notebook 2.0 will be the milestone or the roadmap, right? Will be the roadmap.
I don't know. An initiative is just a group of epics that we are that
is my point.
Release that will result in a release.
Yeah, to result a release or not, because so if you have the roadmap, that's everything, and that scroll a little up, Matthew, and this is a subset of part of the roadmap, the point 1 and 2. How we call this?
So normally an initiative lives forever, right? Like usually, right? An initiative is more like but then at some point we're kind of being very semantically silly here, because what actually is happening is that we have a bunch of epics that we're just trying to group together and say that we are tracking these at the same time, right? Normally this is done by aligning the epics on a timeline, right? That's normally how this is actually done. You know, it's like saying, and then you have milestone times for, but it's like we can just use the word initiative for this. It really doesn't matter that much, and then we can kind of expand it as we go. But like it's effectively is a group of epics that are like related in some way, effectively, right? You know what I mean? Are related in some way, e.g., getting an MVP out for 2.0 alpha, you know what I mean? Like, or something, right? It's kind of, or maybe not even that, like having, like getting, e.g., getting notebooks to a point where you can spawn like 2.0.
No, where we can do something.
What is this? Like, what is, like, how would you describe this? Like, it's like it have end-to-end flow almost, you know, like, or
yeah.
Like this, like that's what initiative. How would we call this initiative?
Is a group of epics. I'm trying to make it generic. It's a group of epics that are related in some way and can be presented as a demo. Like we have something that we are able to demo in the end, end-to-end flow in the end.
I think I've read in some way. I'm going to say they can change. I think initiatives can live forever. I think, you know what I mean. I think that like that's. I think initially they I just want to clarify. I think that's all it is. It's a group of X that are related in some way. I don't think we need to clarify it any more than that. They like initiatives can live forever, e.g., developer experience or experience, like not developer experience, uh accelerator support or like integrations I don't know. Who knows? But what's the better way? I don't know. Like that's because that's kind of what we're doing with a lot of stuff. It's like
Just delete these and you can decide later, man.
live forever
DG.
or
DG.
be associated to a specific milestone. You know, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the last thing, Matthew, if you can create the document to me to paste what I have on the roadmap.
Well, I think what we should do is just make a bunch of initiatives. Oh, I guess that's a problem.
No, I do like to have a way to people read everything because I can link with initiatives.
Yeah, so I think to do that, the best way to do it is just make a document, yeah, and then we
Yes,
can.
yeah. That's the if you can create a document right now and send me the link because I don't have permissions to create on Kubeflow folder.
Yeah, let me just do that. Okay.
I feel like this was super productive today.
Well, it's because we did a lot of preparation. Shared drives, community. Oh my gosh, Gemini is trying to talk to me. Stop it. I think it's under.
Did you get the version today? Because at Red Hat is a chaos. Everybody's playing with the Gemini inside the Google
Oh
Docs.
God, it's
They
so
enable
annoying.
for us today.
I think it must have been a global thing because it happened everywhere. Okay. So the okay, so there's two different folders. One called Community Meetings, and one called Kubeflow Public. What is all this? So Kubeflow Summit, because it got okay. Community Meetings is probably where we should do it. Yeah. So there's like design document. That's where like the Notebooks 2.0 design document. I'll share this, right? So like this folder here is where this lives. Like, so there's a folder under community meetings called this, and this is where the design document lives. And it's more like
Maybe you should create,
new
create
document,
there.
and then it's like, what do we call it?
Roadmap.
Notebooks 2.0 roadmap, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Kubeflow Notebooks 2.0, and we can link it on the FAQ actually. Also,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, let me just rename. How does this one look? Why is it not copying? I don't understand. Is it this freaking Gemini thing?
AI can copy for you.
What? I couldn't copy and paste it until I had typed something. That must be a bug related to Gemini. It has to be. What a weird thing. Okay.
So we don't need to answer this, but I'll put this out, Eder and Matthew, for you to think about, right? As we start to identify these epic owners, right? Knowing that they can change over time and all that stuff. I think a lot of that will probably come to discussions of, maybe decisions that we'll need to talk with you and Eder. Is this one call enough? Or we could still have it totally open to the public. I'm not trying to like hide anything here, but like, I wonder if this is more like issue focused versus like stuff to kind of like unblock in some sort of separate call. Or I mean, I don't know, but do we think this one thing is enough? Because I know there were a couple like implementation questions that I wanted to raise that like I don't know if this one call is going to be enough to
I'm thinking about an way for to scale, right? Because in the past, what I did is that when we talk with Matthew a lot in chat, maybe you can have dedicated calls because the public meeting you'll be too much distraction for some. If you deep dive into money details, is a way for I think to people to communicate the decisions and not to discuss the solutions. I would say. I give example when Matthew and we talked about the way that we're going to do redirects, that we're not forcing them. We spend like a couple hours discussing this, and then we create a summary for the community. But we need to make sure that everyone knows what we're deciding.
Are we going to do initial release and then what's the next one? Like is like because like is this a roadmap as in like do we want like pre-release like
Yeah, I'll call pre-release or alpha release.
And what's our timeline for that? Like that's what I mean. Like it's
Matthew, is still early to discuss this.
I'm just gonna put that.
But and then what I'm gonna do, I did a don't take my word for everything. I put the thing that I wrote as a draft here. that I'm to create the epics, and we can discuss between us that is the right thing to do or not.
Let me share this as well. General access, anyone with link can view, and then Kubeflow discusses a commenter, and then I'll add you. As an editor.
Can you put my personal one? Is my last name. You get IGNA. IGNA.
Okay, I'm just gonna stop sharing because I'm totally doxing people. What is it?
I'll paste for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. I think we're probably good, but thank you everyone. It was good.
Pleasure.
If you wanna participate, please message us on the Kubeflow Notebook channel if you've been watching. On the Slack, to be clear.